in our special event in honor of His Excellency Minister Amr Talat, Minister of Communication and Information Technology. Our focus tonight is on how AI is reshaping business and challenging the opportunities. Before I proceed, I'd like to welcome our special guests. Of course, His Excellency Minister Talat, His Excellency Minister Byung Sun Choi, Chargé d'Affaires of the Korean Embassy, Dr. Ziad Bahauddin, former Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Sharif Sami, former Chairman of EFSA, Engineer Rafat Abdelaziz Fahmi, Deputy Minister for Infrastructure Affairs, Dr. Ghada Mustafa Labib, Deputy Minister for Institutional Development, Dr. Sharif Mohammed Farouk, Chairman of the Board of Directors of the National Postal Authority, Engineer Ahmed Al-Zahir, Chief Executive Officer of Information Technology Industry Development Authority, ITIDA, Mr. Ali Isa, Chairman of EBA, and Mr. Muhannad Khalid, Chairman of the Egyptian-British Chamber of Commerce, Engineer Khalid Sharif, Assistant Minister of Tourism for Digital Transformation, and Ms. Nisreen Lashin, Head of Investor Support Unit, Office of the Minister of Finance. I'd also like to recognize and thank our silver sponsor, Mideast Communication Systems, and our event partners for their continuous support. Banque du Caire, CIB Egypt, eBank, GlaxoSmithKline, Innovo, New Era for Education, Uppingham Cairo, Suez Canal Bank, Tatweer Misr, and Vodafone. And special thanks to our strategic partner, Excellent Communications. Without further ado, please allow me to welcome His Excellency to the podium to share with us his thoughts about the subject. Your Excellency.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, friends. It gives me a great pleasure to stand before you today to shed some light on MCIT strategy on AI. Indeed, the flavor of the month. In the past 24 hours, this is my fourth event to talk about AI in 24 hours. So indeed, something or a topic that everybody, not only in Egypt, but throughout the world, is busy with. Is it an opportunity? Is it a risk? Is AI more dangerous than nuclear weapons? Is AI a magical solution? With a press of a button, it can solve all the problems of the world? These are just but thoughts that everybody keep thinking about. There are a lot of discussions worldwide about. We all know that data now is the most valuable natural resource, and countries, organizations, even people are worried about their data, are trying to enrich their data, are trying to derive value out of their data. And this has lent a lot of focus on AI being the means to derive value and extract more and more out of your data. And this is not new. AI is not new. Of course, ICT experts around the room, and I see a lot of them, know this better than I do. It's a science that we've been studying for over 50 years. What is new is the computational power and the capabilities of today's equipment that enables this type of equipment to utilize data and perform analytics on data that was not possible in the near past. And this is what I would call traditional AI is about. Then came the great debut last year, the generative AI. The new, I would say, transformative technology that really put AI in the spotlight everywhere in the world and intensified the global discussion about AI, its opportunities, its advantages, and its risks as well. And it is right, because the speed of adoption of AI is unprecedented. There is a KPI, probably many of you would know, that we call the 50 million user, that signifies the prevalence of any new invention by the time it took that invention to reach 50 million users using it. When the fixed phones were invented end of the 19th century, it took around 50 years for 50 million people to be using it. A couple of decades later, electricity came out, 46 years to reach 50 million users. 3 or 4 more decades, around the mid of the 20th century, television was invented. 22 years to reach 50 million users. So we're getting faster and faster. 3 decades further, towards the end of the last century, the internet. It took 7 years. Down from 50 years. It took 7 years to reach 50 million users. Then came Instagram at the beginning of this century. And it's not years anymore, it's months. It took 22 months to reach 50 million users. Then came Pokemon Go, and it's not months anymore. It's days, 19 days, to reach 50 million users. Then came generative AI. It's not ours. It's the KPI itself that changed. No longer 50 million, 100 million in a couple of months. This is the impact of this technology. And this, in my view, is one of the prime impetuses why everybody is so concerned with AI. It's available, it's prevalent, it's easy to use, there's a lot everybody can do with, but there are worries and there are concerns. And there are a lot of transformations that needs to be performed in order to take advantage of generative AI. One very important aspect is the human creativity. Is it going to cease to exist? Now we know that AI can compose music, can draw portraits. Even Umm Kulthum is singing through AI now new songs. So will human creativity cease to exist or be useless and no need for it anymore? So generative AI can do everything and create everything and innovate everything. Of course, there is the debate that has been going for some time now, and indeed extremely important and vital, the ethics of AI and the neutrality of the data that is feeding the AI systems. Extremely important. And with more and more dependence on AI, and more sectors' reliance on AI, the ethics and the neutrality of the data of AI is, in my view, a pivotal question and a pivotal issue that needs to be addressed. The rules and regulations, the copyrights, the liabilities. If a self-driven car hits me, who's liable? One very important new profession that has emerged with the emergence of generative AI is prompt engineering, where people learn how to ask generative AI systems. And the better you are in asking questions and posing the requests, the more comprehensive answer you get. So if two people ask questions about a certain topic, but one is more skillful than the other and is able to generate a more comprehensive, a deeper, or a better response from the AI system, the copyright of the generated output, who owns it? Is it the skilled prompt engineer, or is it the author of the content that the generative AI engine depended on? Is it the company that invented this particular engine of generative AI? A dilemma. One of the forums I had the pleasure to participate within in these AI 24 hours was this morning in the Ministry of Justice, where these topics are discussed. And there are no apparent answers, but they are, in my view, very important questions. The workplace with AI, will we work the same way we do today? Will the work models change with the advent and the prevalence and the continuing prevalence of AI progressively going on? Will the working models change, or will it remain the same as it is? The segregation between the role of humans in future workplace versus the role of AI. When will we depend on AI? When will we resort to humans? If they can innovate, if I'm even saying they, not it, if generative AI can innovate, can compose music, can draw portraits, can write research, when will we resort to human beings in the future? When will we hire human beings in our organizations? Or will it cease to exist and everybody will lose their jobs in a matter of few years? Lawyers, doctors, practitioners, advisors, consultants. IP, as I said, very big topic in today's world with generative AI. When we started our strategy in Egypt for AI, it was way before the generative AI. We started back in 2019 when things were a bit simpler. So we based our strategy on the technologies available at then. And we started with a multi-phased strategy back in the day, 2019 and 2020. We started with phase one. We started with forming a national council for AI where all stakeholders are members, so that we can collectively think of how to utilize the technology, how to draw the strategy, how to implement and deliver on that strategy as we go. Then we composed a strategy that was launched in 2021, and later there was also the Egyptian Charter for Responsible AI last year, again before the emergence of generative AI. The strategy that we started stood over three main pillars. Capacity building. We always believe that talent is the core of success of any strategy. Innovative solutions and forging an ecosystem that is conducive for innovation within AI. And then Egypt's international role in important topics like the neutrality of data, like the ethics of AI, and safe use of AI. We had two enablers that were very important as well: a governing legislative framework to streamline the entire AI ecosystem and enabling computational resources that can help the government as well as private sector in building innovative solutions. We started with a citizen-centric solution, and we thought of the milestones of each and every citizen, from birth till even after demise, the inheritance. Each and every citizen has a set of milestones that probably will hit most of them, definitely will hit some of them. And the concept and the methodology of building solutions, exploiting AI, was centered around these life events. These life events were subgrouped into three prime categories: citizen, companies and trade, and the land and real estate. And the movement and the interaction between these three subcategories led and generated a set of platforms that each encompass a set of homogeneous solutions that serve for the purpose of automating the different subcategories that I tried to explain. And then we started with private sector companies automating these platforms. We started with the three you see in white: companies and establishments, real estate, wealth, and social protection. The strategy, of course, will continue to unfold as we cover the rest of these platforms. This was the core of the first pillar of innovative solutions. Second is capacity building, and this is again very important. We subdivided the strategy here into three, again, main categories. Category, I wouldn't say one, but the base is to raise the awareness of the society on AI. What AI can do, how AI can harm, how can we benefit from AI, its capabilities, its hazards, the concept of the data being a valuable asset that each and every citizen should consider like his other values, like his money, like his watch, like anything else that is valuable. How can he protect his or her data in the same manner? Second category is for basic education for a larger segment of the society, and then the tip of the pyramid for advanced and deepened knowledge in AI. We started with several initiatives. I wouldn't want to get into what we call Digital Egypt Generations Initiative, where we have 4 parallel tracks for pupils grade 4 to grade 6, then Digital Egypt Cups for grade 7 to grade 9, to grade 11, and then the Pioneers for university students and graduates, and then Digital Egypt's Builders for the sophisticated, top-notch, specialized engineers in various disciplines of AI. We've also devised several other learning initiatives. We have now a platform we call Mahara Tech that avails a very, very wide set of lectures, not only on AI, but also cybersecurity, IoT, and other specializations where any citizen can access and get to learn at his or her pace. We've also reached out for our neighbors. One initiative was with Sudan, where we're training our Sudanese neighbors on AI as well as practical training as well. Third is our role in the international forums pertaining to AI. sorry, before that, let me maybe present a couple of slides on further innovative solutions that we started in 2020 with the establishment of an R&D center that we call Applied Innovation Center. The reason we stress that it's applied because we're not a ministry that is responsible for academical work. We're more focused on impactful solutions that can help our society embrace the challenges that poses in various segments of our country, whether agriculture or education or healthcare or others. Starting 2020, the center was formed, and we started hiring a set of very distinguished scientists, professors and engineers, and we started building solutions, not only exploiting AI, but exploiting a wider set of new and sophisticated technologies. We've also acquired a high-performance computer that enables us to develop such solutions. Some of the results or the fruits that were generated out of the AIC, or the Applied Innovation Center, in what we call the NLP, or the natural language processing, the ability of the system to identify the spoken language and turn it into a text. We've devised or built a solution for various Egyptian dialects. The precision is around 94%, which is extremely, I would say, high in comparison to other NLP solutions in the region focused on Arabic. Now there are several applications for these solutions in the judicial system, in call centers, with several commercial enterprises. The second domain was healthcare. And here we've exploited image processing in order to help various specializations of physicians in early diagnosis of several prevalent diseases in the country that we're trying to shorten the time between the doctor examining the x-rays or various examinations and issuing a report by employing an AI solution in the middle. Also, legal assistance for the judges and various members of the judicial system, leveraging the wealth of data that we own in Egypt in the judicial segment, being one of the oldest and segments with a lot of heritage. So the wealth of data of all lawsuits enabled us to form a wide data pool that helped also in providing very accurate recommendations in this respect. And again, with text processing to come up with a map for different crops within Egypt for a Ministry of Agriculture and Ministry of Irrigation to plan their needs for water supplies, for pesticides and other necessities for agriculture based on the crop map in each season within the year. Back to the global stage and the international role, we're trying to advocate, as I said, the important topics that we believe should be addressed by international or regional organizations. Again, the ethics and neutrality of AI, because with the technology gap between the advanced countries inventing these solutions and the rest of the world using the same solutions, the matter is serious. It's as if you're taking a medicine that was designed for someone else. and the convincing the ecosystem, the global ecosystem, to address the idea or the topic of data neutrality is proving to be a very, very tough challenge, but we're adamant to continue advocating for it in various international forums. We're heading the group within the Arab League. We're heading the group within the EU. We're the vice chair within the UNESCO. Also, a lot of activities with the OECD and the WIPO as well in this respect. All these activities came into fruition, in my view, jumping around 49 places from rank 111 to rank 62 between the years 2019 and 2023. The rank report is issued yearly, or I believe biannually, by Oxford Insights. We're not satisfied with rank 62. We may be a bit delighted with the jump, but we believe definitely Egypt deserves way, way, way better of a rank than 62. And this is one of the aims of Phase 2 of our strategy. Phase 2, we're addressing maybe a wider array of work streams. Again, we start with talent. Again, we believe talent will remain to be the cornerstone, expanding the talent pool within various sub-disciplines of AI topics. The data quality, improving the data quality and the data integrity. And this is another tough challenge in Egypt, because along the years, very, very wide pools of data has been created and formed, which is the positive side of the story. The challenge is the integrity of that data, and consequently the ability to rely on this data and to trust the outcome that is generated based on this data. Third is the technology, of course, and coming up with more innovative solutions with impact, as I said, on various segments of our society. We continue to strive to acquire the right infrastructure in order to be able to build such systems, and the adoption of a governing framework. And this is not the responsibility of MCIT solely, but rather a national agenda that we participate with other ministries, as well as the parliament and the civil society, in order to devise the right AI governance model. And the challenge here is the balance. But we all know that data is the bloodline of AI. Again, data needs to be preserved and protected. So the balance is between the protection of the data and not to strangle it too tight, then you kill the industry. You kill the AI development. And this is the challenge that everybody in the world is currently facing. Some countries are leaning towards being more conservative. Some countries are leaning towards being more bold in availing data. Still, the balance is to be found that would strike both aims: the protection, the privacy, and the availability, in order to forge an ecosystem that is conducive to better, more effective AI solutions. And this is the bigger aim, to be able to create this enabling for we started also to think of, again, impactful solutions. The criteria is the feasibility of solutions, the cost, the duration, the technical feasibility. The other important factor is the impact. Is it really important? Is it something that we need to develop ourselves quickly, or we can maybe acquire an off-shelf solution? And this is how my colleagues and I are evaluating within MCIT various segments that would enjoy the priority to target, whether in building systems similar to the ones I tried to describe when I was talking about the mission of the Applied Innovation Center, or maybe a large language model in Arabic that would be domain-based on one or more of these domains. So is it a risk or is it an opportunity? Maybe it's for you to decide, or maybe it's both. Yes, there will be jobs lost. Yes, there will be illegal use. Yes, there is more and more ethical considerations that need to be addressed. On the other hand, there is an opportunity for each and every student to have a personal tutor, to learn according to his or her personal traits and aptitude and pace, something that was not available before. The ability to create and innovate with a touch of a button. The efficiency and productivity to build a software system that used to take months in creating and testing now can be created with a touch of a button. So is it a risk or an opportunity for you to decide? Thank you very much. Sorry, I didn't know that there were questions, so I returned back. I'm more than ready, please. Of course.
I may have few questions that I can start to trigger and warm up. First of all, allow me to start by telling everyone whom I haven't had the honor of meeting before, بعد إذن حضرتك, I'm Karim Rifat. I'm the chairman of Engage. We're a public policy and a government affairs consulting group. Very honored to be here today with حضرتك before the panel. There were a couple of questions that are prepared, not for Your Excellency, but I'll try to innovate to warm up the debate. I really liked a lot what Your Excellency mentioned about AI being, the good or the bad boy. And I'm trying to think of what everyone is thinking of in the room today. How can AI help us fix our problems today? Can we use AI in our next budgeting? Can we use AI to tell us which sector we would rightfully ask the government get out from? Can we use AI to predict the price of oil and gas? Can AI tell us when Gaza war or Ukraine war will end? Can AI help us to know where to export to? Can help us what not to import? Can AI help us what kind of treasury bonds we offer, for which terms, and so on? Can it be that useful on this juncture in Egypt?
Yes, but so in very, very basic terms, AI is our ability, or the system's ability, to analyze huge amounts of data. First question, is it accurate data? Is it comprehensive data? Is it real data? Is it complete data? These are very important questions. I pick one example of what you just mentioned. Which markets to address? This, if we are doing manually this exercise, we'll read numbers, we'll read volumes, we'll read purchasing power, we'll read economical situation in different countries, we'll read shipping costs, whatever parameters that will help us make a decision. Give it to AI. Are these parameters accurate? Are they comprehensive? If they are, yes, AI will help. If they are not, then there is an issue. So data is the bloodline. Its accuracy, its completeness, and its bias. These are very, very important elements. If they are met, yes, definitely I can help. If there is a disruption, to put it mildly, there will be an issue in the accuracy of the decision or the results you're obtaining out of the system.
I will abuse one more question for myself.
Pleasure.
With everything Your Excellency and your team is trying to do, I am sure there is resistance from other parts of the government who have not been built up to think innovation and to think AI and to think digital and so on. And I won't name any specific part of the government. By the way, I was a former government employee, so I don't care. And I will say what I know is today. How flexibility is evolving in your sense?
والله يعني being frank with you, it's quite the opposite. It is the overestimation of the capability of AI that we need to adjust. Everybody is thinking AI is the solution for everything in the world. And all our problems can be solved now with AI. And you even listen to the word out of context in so many speeches and articles. So the challenge is not to convince people to use AI. The challenge is to convince people that AI has limitations. And there is a criteria to use it in order to succeed in using it. And this is the challenge I'm personally observing. Not only in government, throughout the society.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I'll be satisfied with 2 questions, but I'll offer a few questions from the floor. Yes, Zizo. Sorry, Abdelaziz Al-Gamal. Sorry. sorry.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Your Excellency, thank you very much. Great presentation. My name is Abdelaziz Al-Gamal, not Zizo.
It can be both, يعني ما فيهاش حاجة.
I'm a co-founder of Transworld Energy, and I would like to tell you that I took note of 2 key statements that you made today. The first one was that data is considered to be a natural resource, which is a new natural resource. This was number 1. Number 2, that data is becoming the bloodline of AI. If I may, I would allow myself to add another one that I heard in Stanford in a seminar that had to do with AI. They said that the progress of the telecommunication sector from Graham Bell to the mobile system took years. Now the progress in comparison to the progress in AI, it takes months. This is the progress that is happening in the technology today. If I may link that to the great presentation that you just made today, maybe instead of being too skeptical about it, we can shift the perspective and look at how we can use it to our advantage. My question to you is, sir, if today we want to use Egypt as a hub, not only just in the region, in the world, I think that till now we're not using Egypt as a central location in the world, in this globe. If we want to do that today and ride the wave of the technology from the very beginning, what can we do that will attract the minds around the world by using Egypt as an incubator for this technology and bring them here so that we can influence the quality of data that will be fed into the system? Thank you very much.
Thank you. A great question. In my view, the talent pool remains the main anchor point and the main attraction. And I see numerous multinational organizations, executives in the room. And maybe they'll agree with me that when they are selecting a new destination to set up any type of center for their operation or expanding any of the centers, the number one criteria is always the size of the talent pool and the abundance of talent and the ease to find talent and the stability, which is, of course, subsequent, the stability of this talent and the attrition rates. This is key because it reflects on the cost, it reflects on the stability of the operation, and these are two very important elements for any multinational company. So the focus, the continued serious and aggressive focus on expanding the talent, diversified talent and skill array within AI, not only AI, but also other important, well-coveted disciplines of ICT is the cornerstone. Second comes an ecosystem that is conducive to innovation, that is friendly to investment in AI. As I said, don't strangle data too tight, it'll die, the industry will die. Don't release it too loose, then you may encounter problems as well in terms of data protection and privacy and so forth. So in addition, as I said, to the neutrality of the data. So these are the main two pillars that paves the way for the rest of the elements I tried to explain in the end or towards the end of my presentation, the 6 pillars that we're working on. These are the 2 prime cornerstones, and the rest are subsequent to those. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I have another question on the left side of the room to be democratic, please.
All right. Good afternoon or good evening. Can you hear me? My name is Namaki. I'm the retired... Can you hear me?
Not really.
Apparently it's not working. Good. All right. My name is El Namaki. I'm the retired Dean of Maastricht School of Management. I have enjoyed your presentation. Maastricht School of Management, by the way, in the Netherlands. I enjoyed your presentation, but I have 2 comments. The first one, most of the presentation addresses the software side of the industry. It does not say anything about the hardware, which is the chip industry, the foundation, of the AI. The chip industry is going through a revolution every day. We have seen that last week with NVIDIA, and we are seeing that actually with others. I think the chip industry should receive equal, if not more, attention than the software of the AI. That's one point. The second point relates to the data. Data is described here in generic terms. Data is not that generic, and the data industry is going through a crisis because of the increase in synthetic data, man-made data, which will have a tremendous impact on the outcome of AI. And this is changing the shape of the entire data industry. And if we have any ambitions there, that should be taken very seriously into considerations. It's estimated that by 2030, 70% of the data is going to be synthetic. That will change the face of the industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you. 2 valid points that I agree with. Regarding the first point, we try to keep it as attractive as we can to non-ICT audience. So maybe delving into hardware would have made it a bit too technical and even more boring. So this is why we lean towards software, but definitely GPUs and hardware is the heart of the entire ecosystem. So I thank you for both very valid arguments.
One more, Your Excellency? Sure. Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Soha Abbas, representative from GSK Pharmaceutical. So it's about the healthcare system or part. First of all, I would like to thank you for the presentation. It's pretty impressive. I loved it. I love that you're practical. And you brought a lot of questions that we need an answer for, and there is no clear answer. You were clear. and also you brought a lot of challenges that we face. My question is two parts. My first part is about how we can bring forums, like for a tripartite
Sorry, how can we bring?
forums or things or ideas for a tripartite agreements between healthcare sector, your sector, and us as like the international companies who invest with the healthcare system. So it's like a tripartite agreement. Usually,
Tripartite between MCIT,
Yes.
the companies
our
working-
companies, yes,
and-
international
and-
companies and the healthcare system.
Okay.
Because usually we go for healthcare system alone and we meet you alone, but we are in silos. However, if we united our efforts together, it can result in technological solutions, digital solutions. That's what we are looking for. I think it can be easier. We can think about things, forums, solutions. I don't know how we can bring it, but you can just advise how we can push this forward to have in place solutions and support. This is my first part of my questions. My second part is about governance. You brought to the table something of our fears, especially as pharma companies. We do care about governance because we don't want to affect HCP, decision, patient data, sensitive data, a lot of things. So how you can also support us in the part of the governance? Do we have any guidance? Can we have like future plans to support all Egypt or guidance or international companies to guide them about governance part for using AI? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Two very important points. The first, you may be delighted to know that we're already there. And the Applied Innovation Center has already signed protocols with two multinational companies in the medical field, exactly to your point, leveraging their R&D wealth, exploiting the data residing within the healthcare system in Egypt, and our humble abilities to leverage these two elements, exploiting AI. My right honorable friend and colleague, Dr. Ahmed Tantawi, who is spearheading EIC, is better equipped to answer further what he's been doing in this respect. So please liaise with him. Second question. Data will remain to be an issue within AI for years to come, in my view. Countries across the world are striving to devise and promulgate legislations in order to govern data usage and exchange and bias and so forth. However, as I said, striking the balance is still a challenge. The EU has just promulgated a law. There's huge discussions around it in the world. Of course, Europe is a very important region. So there are huge discussions around it now within the industry, and its pros and cons. We're following it intently because we need to learn, and I always believe that the best way is to start where others have succeeded, so you don't reinvent the wheel. So we're following intently what's going on in the EU to try and learn from their experiences and build on what they'll end up doing. Yesterday, in another forum relevant to AI, I met my Italian counterpart, and he was again talking about Italy's plans to issue a law for AI. So they considered what has been issued by the EU not sufficient. They want to have their domestic legislation as well. So it's still work in progress, in my view.
You allow me, Your Excellency, to tempt my chances with one final question that I think only Your Excellency might be able to answer. I read by mere coincidence this morning that the preliminary forecasting of the Egyptian budget, sorry, I'll come back to you, is around 3.8 trillion, out of which $500 billion for salaries and $500 billion for investments. On salaries and investments, how much of those are we going to give in an envelope to invest in AI, which is apparently here to exist?
We do have a budget for AI within MCIT. we're of course striving to add to it. But as much as this is a challenge, and financial resources will always be a challenge, at least to me personally, but it's not the first priority in the challenges we need to embrace. The talent build-up, the societal awareness, the data integrity are, in my view, more difficult to confront.
Thank you. Sorry, someone had raised his or her hands before. Yes, please, تفضل.
Your Excellency, thank you very much for this informative presentation. My name is Yahya Abdel Ghaffar. I am a student at École Oasis International in grade 11. And I have a question for you. In your presentation, you presented the opportunities and risks for AI. So my question is, do you believe that the opportunities outweigh the risks and it's better to develop for the opportunities? Or do you believe that we should take the resources that we are putting in the development of AI to develop another technology that can give us the same opportunities without these risks?
You should sit on the panel.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. This is the essence of the discussions, the global discussions and debates around the exploitation and further reliance on AI. It depends on our ability to maximize the benefits, and again, our ability to mitigate the risks. Both are there. Our ability to mitigate, for instance, illegal usage of AI, impersonating people over the phone using AI, generating uncopyrighted innovative material and claiming it for oneself. If we devise the right framework to mitigate these wrongdoings, the other side of the same coin, our ability to maximize the benefits of using AI, then it's the right way to go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. You've been very generous, and I know you have other commitments.
Pleasure, and it was an honor to stand before this great audience, and I really enjoyed very much being with you today. Thank you very much for hosting.
Thank you. Okay, now that I think we've perfectly warmed up the debate, allow me to now move on, and thank you all for staying for longer than we should have all expected. I would like to call on, maybe I'll give just one more minute for His Excellency. I know we've all crossed the timing, but I still think it's a very interesting debate and alignment of panelists that we are very keen to listen to. I will call on, first of all, of course, Sahar Al-Bazzar, please, member of the Egyptian Parliament, Deputy Chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee. I know that she's been doing a lot more than simple foreign affairs. We need help. Please, أي مكان, yes. Marwa Abbas, IBM General Manager in Egypt. Welcome, Marwa. Mahmoud Al-Khatib, Vice President for Vodafone, Egypt. Dr. Ahmed Tantawi, thank you for waiting for us, the Executive Director of Applied Innovation Center. Thank you very much for waiting with us. Guy Daly, Provost and Vice President of the British University of Egypt. Thank you for again waiting for all that time. Mohammed Fahmy, where are you? I can see you. Mohammed Fahmy, Sequence Ventures, co-founder of Logic. I have good questions, at least one or two for you. And finally, I'm extremely proud to welcome on the stage my former colleague, Tariq Sifed Nasr, from the head of venture growth of Falak Startups. And I'm not sure if I missed anyone else or not. I think we are all here. Correct? Okay. So everyone, I mean, thank you very much. waited a lot. Tariq, please sit down. Muhammad, please sit down. I can be more energetic now that the minister has left. So basically, when we started to think of AI, we wanted to start by saying it is either the sum of all fears or the resolver of all problems. We've heard so much from the minister. I was personally extremely excited about what we heard today. But if you allow me, I wanted to diplomatically start with you, but I will not be able to do so, Sahar, because I want to talk to Marwa. Please, can you tell us when has AI started for people like us who don't know? Are we late when we progressed 49 places? Are we progressing fast enough? Are others progressing faster than we are? Are we late in the game, or are we still good in the game as Egypt?
Thank you, Kareem, and good evening once more. Definitely, AI, as the minister has indicated, has been in the discussion, and probably Dr. Tantawi can take us through the history, because he shared with us a view around the historical part of the development of AI and the machine learning and how all these technicalities has evolved. فهو الحقيقة it's something that has progressed but accelerated with the generative AI very much when it started to touch the individuals and to touch the productivity. I think this is where we can relate to this as individuals. This is where it start to become recognized as something that we all need to leverage in our day-to-day. Now the question back again to how governments and enterprises are going to be able to leverage AI. I've been seeing the discussion, the questions that have been addressed to the minister around, can we use it? Is it going to be effective? And what are we going to do all this? And I need to bring it a little bit back to maybe IBM, because we are in the IT sector for 112 years, in Egypt for 70 years, but at the same time, we've worked through, and at the heart of everything that we've made us spend all this time in the sector of IT is that we were able to reinvent ourselves as a company. And when it came to AI, we believe that the AI is about three things yet, Kareem. It's really about the alliances and being open. So it needs collaboration from different entities, because it's not just one model, it's not just one organization, it's not one thing. It's a multiple things. So it's really about the alliances that can take it. Second, it's the policies and regulations, because policies are very important. We've been talking about trust, about non-biasness, about the AI needs to be explainable. We need to be able to be sure that the outcome that is coming is explainable to the end user or to the client or to the entity to be able to trust it. And then the last but not least is about the workforce. It's about the capacity building and equipping the individuals to be able to deal with this. The platform that IBM has established and has launched with the generative AI, it's the Watson X. Maybe some of you have heard about Watson long ago when IBM introduced this years and years back, but we've reinvented this into a platform that has three components into it. First is the AI engine and the Watson.ai, which leverages, as I said, openness, hybrid cloud in terms of on-prem and on the cloud, all different large language models, and so many different things. The second is the data. You've all been talking about the data. The data is the way it's structured, the cost of data, how the data will be. And then the most important last part is the governance. The governance doesn't only happen at the beginning of using AI, it needs to be incubated into the platform, even at deployment and throughout the journey of the AI. So again, those are like the three pillars of things. So back again to your question, yes, we can use AI. And I'm very much strong. I mean, we've been in alliance with the Ministry of ICT, and maybe Dr. Tantawi will talk about this as well, into using, use cases and applying some use cases we've had, from a government standpoint that make relevance to be trusted, and how can the AI can be used across institutions with sizable impact.
Thank you. I'll come to regulations and to government. I work for a government policy agency. Don't worry about that. But Mahmoud, please. I meant to move from IBM to Vodafone and to turn around the sequence, because Vodafone has been always a very strong partner to the government in terms of digitizing anything, technological transformation, and so on. I want to know how does Vodafone evaluate what the government has been doing? And now the minister is out, so you can talk freely. So is it enough? Can we do more? Were you part of it in the thinking, or what?
Thank you very much, Kareem. I think it's, as you rightfully said, actually, so the Egyptian government, represented by Ministry of Communication and Information Technology, they started the journey already. As the Minister, His Excellency, rightfully said, actually, it is an opportunity and the risk at the same time. And in my view, we're taking the right steps. We need to focus more on the legislation and the regulation in order to make sure that we pave the way for the environment, for the private sector, and for the government to get the benefit of the AI. And in my view, I really believe that we don't have any other option. Regardless of the risk or the opportunity of the AI, it became a reality. So we need to capture this opportunity and to build the right skill set as organizations and as nation in order to be ready to the wave of the AI. On the risk side of the story, we need to get prepared as well. So it's not an option anymore. So we need to get ready with all the risks tied to the new technology. Especially that the digital transformation for organizations and industries, it became a must. If you look at digitizing Egypt as a nation, Vodafone is honored to lead one of the most important projects in Egypt, national projects, which is the Universal Health Insurance project. We started with the first phase covering 6 governorates with 6 million Egyptians. They are enjoying end-to-end digital services, and the opportunity to capture the AI benefit throughout the data that the system generates is endless. So you can imagine if we use the AI in analyzing the disease, how many people have certain diseases, and even it will go further with the recommendation of the solutions for healthcare and for other industries. Agriculture, manufacturing, and the rest of industries is not a side of what we're doing. So as Vodafone, I really believe that our aim is to help our customers to get the benefit of the AI and to start with ourselves. So we have tons of ideas that we can implement, taking into consideration if we moved further as a government by defining the right regulation and making sure that we're ready to beat the risk comes with the AI. I think we'll be leading in the region. One important aspect I would like to highlight on the risk side of the story, I don't think the AI will not replace people as such. Yet the risk is much higher if you can imagine that the machine will start to self-learn rather than getting the learning from the humans. I think this would be a big challenge that we need to be ready for.
Well, I love the cue that you gave me. Professor Daly, I'll move to you from that cue. In your capacity as a professor, I have 2 very quick questions and they're interlinked. Who's teaching who? The teachers? Do we have enough teachers to teach students about AI? Or are they being taught by the students, like the gentleman here who came with probably the most intelligent questions of all earlier on? Are we having enough talent pool in Egypt to understand AI and either to teach it or to teach the teachers?
Is it working now? It's okay. I think these days when we think of teaching and learning, we no longer have the paradigm of the professor on the stage being the one with all the wisdom, that we get our students. Thank you. I think the suggestion that we still have professors on the stage who are the authority and the students just ingesting knowledge is an old-fashioned one. We now, not just at our university, believe in personalized learning, in which the student is at the center of all that we do, and that includes how we create and deliver courses. I think AI is an opportunity for us to move even further in terms of that, to ensuring that our learning, our programs are personalized to the needs of our students. And that we will be able to work out better how effective we are to the generation of our own data in terms of learner analytics and what have you, whereby we can see whether or not our students are engaged, whether they understand, whether they need extra particular bespoke support for themselves because they're not understanding a particular thing. So I think your question in some ways about really whether we've got the workforce to do all of that, I think that is a real challenge for universities and all sectors and all industries as we move into this next part of the 21st century and digital phenomenon.
Thank you very much. Sahar, well, you have a title of a Vice Chairman of a Foreign Affairs Committee. However, I've followed you, we've hosted you very proudly. Sahar, for everybody's knowledge, is probably one of the few people that has been already working on an AI legislation. And she's almost done with it and pushing it into several rounds of consultation. You've heard a lot about fear, potential of AI, IP, partnerships, regulations, pull-in, talent keeping. Like the minister has given you what to put in the regulation. Where are we from everything that has been said from a policy perspective?
So you hear me, right?
I hear you.
Okay, good. So for what I'm doing, I'm almost done, as you said, and it will be discussed with the ministry, and I started to have roundtables where I have experts present and private sector present and NGOs present with me in this roundtable to make sure that the bill that I'm working on is inclusive of all perspectives. I'm almost done, and it covers a lot of the fears that we are talking about. It's pivotal that on one hand, you want to provide an attractive environment for private sector to foster more technological advancements and innovation. And on the other hand, you want to make sure that you are protecting the users, whether they are individuals or companies or governmental agencies when they use this technology. We need to make sure this technology are being used ethically, responsibly, and companies are held accountable. Whether for data privacy or copyrights, as His Excellency was talking about a few minutes ago. Also, the green AI, because to train one single AI model, it's equivalent to the lifetime of the emissions of several cars. So we need to have accountability on this to make sure that we also going green with AI. Another example is last year, I don't know if you heard, but one young man in Belgium, he was an environmental activist, and he was a father of 2 kids, and he committed suicide after chatting with an application of an AI for 2 months. And his psychiatrist and his wife believe that, of course, he had his own mental issues, but he was prompt to commit suicide after talking with the AI. So who should be accountable for this? That's why it's very important to have legislative work in place to protect individuals and to protect also the companies.
Thank you. Thank you. Once we fix this technology, we'll go to AI. Okay, Dr. Tantawi, you've heard a lot of things. You are really the head of Applied Innovation Center, so AI Center. So I want to know one very straightforward question. When you hear the people from the private sector talking, and when you hear their aspirations and so on, do you feel that you're sitting on 2 different sides of the table, or that you and the private sector are actually sitting on the same sides of the table but with different visions or tactic or tools?
You mean on the government side?
Yes.
Versus the private. I guess it's the same side. The issues are the same. I mean, I always like to say the government is the largest enterprise in any country, bar none. In terms of impact on the nation, it's by far the largest. In terms of employment, it's by far the largest, budget, and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, most governments, if not all, don't really have their own research or applied R&D center that solves their own problems as a government and does the work that a government should be doing as opposed to what others are doing. Yes, there are solutions, of course, in the digital transformation field and so on. You bring in people to build these things for you, and that's perfectly fine. But you don't really do research. In the Applied Innovation Center, we try to do things a little differently. We try to use emerging technology, especially AI, and think about what can this technology do to help the government do its work better, okay? Or do work that it does not do. And hence the focus that the minister talked about, healthcare. Why healthcare? Because the government, for instance, is supposed to do screening for an entire segment of the population for breast cancer, for example, at certain age and so on and so forth. It does not do that. It cannot do that because of budget, because of personnel, because of a lot of things. Can AI help? Yes. We step in and try to do this. Diabetic patients who are suffering from, or actually they can develop eye diseases. Is the government responsible about screening these people? It is. Can it do it? No. There are not enough ophthalmologists, not enough stations to do all that work. Can AI help? Absolutely. The second question is that, are there AI solutions that do these things in the world? The answer is yes. Would it work in Egypt? No. 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 We tried it. It won't work. Whatever makes 99% in some other countries can barely do 80s here. Why? Because there are differences, genetic difference, dietary difference, climate differences, and so on. So it affects the way diseases progress. So we need that data from Egypt to develop solutions for Egypt. Hence the need to have these things done here. So we need to develop them. So where is the problem, or where is the challenge? The challenge is really, for us, being a government entity, is not data. We can get almost any data we want. Almost, of course, you understand. There are areas where we can't.
100%, I know.
But we can get almost all the data we want, and we can do work with these things. The challenge, the primary challenge, is people, all right? And the secondary challenge is the machines, the hardware. Somebody mentioned the hardware. This is very expensive hardware, very expensive. So the idea that startups will start working using these things tomorrow, no, it is very expensive. So they need help and so on and so forth. The reward is huge, but yes, they do. So as far as the government is concerned, it has some resources to acquire these things, and this is what we were lucky enough to. Can it attract people? That's the other way around. Government salaries are not that great, obviously, but we manage because the work is interesting, right, and because it's attractive. So we started with a few leaders. It's very, very hard to find leaders. You were talking about professors. It's very hard to find a professor of AI, especially a professor who has practical experience. You won't find much. And if you find somebody already working for a large multinational like IBM and others who pay them a lot more, so that you won't have them. So having these leaders was the first step. Can you find some? Very few. But we were really, really lucky, really lucky. We found very good people. We attracted them and got them on board and so on and so forth. Then you start getting the younger generation. We have a fantastic pool of great kids. Fantastic pool. You can take them, train them, and build with them. So the challenges are there, but you have to do something, I guess.
Thank you very much. I'll take that challenge. Muhammad, I'll count on our friendship to keep you at last. Tariq, what about that challenge with Falak startups? So there is a need of more startups. There is a need of more Egyptian-driven solutions, as we're hearing by Professor Tantawi. So tell me, Tariq, do we have enough solutions? Do we have enough people who are aware about AI in your startups? In which sectors? Do you find enough, or you struggle?
First of all, is it working? Okay. First of all, thank you so much, Karimba. It's an honor to be with you in this panel. I used to work for Kareem, so it feels like AI has gotten us full circle. And it's also an honor to be with this with the panel, especially with Marwa from IBM, because the first time I learned about AI was from when IBM beat the world's champion in chess. That was the first time I heard about AI. But let me talk about, so I work at Felix Startups. We invest in early stage startups. And there is one of our startup is working specifically on AI. They're training models in Arabic. They're the first startup that trains models. They're called Intalla. And they're the ones who actually did all this Arabic subtitles and dialects on Watch It. And one of the things in AI, it's in English, and they're trying to challenge it and doing the Arabic version in different dialects. So I think one of the challenge right now is how to fine-tune the models in Arabic. So that's what one of our startup is working on in AI. In general, every startup that we meet, they have to mention AI. It became a very, very important component. When I was at the Web Summit recently, every workshop I've been to, they mentioned AI. During the LEAP conference, Saudi Arabia announced a 40 billion fund for AI. So that just shows how important AI is.
Thank you very much, Tariq. Muhammad, thank you for waiting. So originally, you're a consultant, and now you're an investor. So you invest in technology companies, and I've heard recently that you've been appointed on the board of the Consultative Digital Council of the Arab League. So you're even stretching your capabilities and your awareness beyond Egypt. So I want to ask the following question to you. From everything that you've heard from His Excellency and today and from the crowd, is Egypt an investment attraction destination for you in AI, or are you still looking elsewhere?
I'm sorry, but unfortunately, no. We don't have opportunity in Egypt to invest big size in AI. AI needs a lot of money to invest in. It's not a small issue. But I need to start from early stage. Okay, I will come to this question. But I need from this discussion to announce two things. First thing, we need to change our paradigm toward that technology is a science fiction to be technology is a science factual. Okay, everything happening. And also the second thing, everything, it has been predictable. It wasn't that surprise. Generative AI, according to certain researches from Atos, IBM, Gartner, okay, if you follow these researches, okay, continually from 2011, you can predict that generative AI comes at 2021. It's not surprise. The thing that we don't have that learning center about the technology enough, our country that it doesn't support or invest enough in this, we have to face the reality. I'm sorry to say that. And also, as Marwa said, it needs a collaborative effort. It's not one single effort. As I think, I'm really sorry, sir, I forget the name, but
Professor Ahmad Tantawi.
Professor Ahmad, he said that government own things, okay, isolated. Yeah, it should be integrated with the private sector to improve this sector well. Okay, I come back to the investment in AI. AI needs a lot of money. Our country, okay, unfortunately, they don't provide enough money, especially the institution, because it's not a private money, it's public money to invest in this sector. We are not USA, we are not China, we are in Egypt. So let us face the reality, we cannot do that. Second thing that I will not get back to timeline and from how long AI invented. Okay, yes, it's a very long story, old story. But let me give you a surprise, because from now to the next decade it will be the most productive decade in human history, because 2 incidents will happen during 2 years, because the limitation of AI mainly by computing power, not the design or something else. Okay, there is some problem related to data cleansing, data structuring, data governance. It will be solved. And within 2 years, we have 2 big inventions will be released. The ultra supercomputer, which is 1,000 bigger than supercomputer now, and the quantum computer after 4 years, it will be commercialized. This is according to research of Gartner and proven. So we need to face the reality. If we need to act, we have to act now. Because the landscape player in AI, 4 types, either innovators, builders, contributor, or user. Otherwise, you will be audience. Okay, and we are audience. We need to contribute, and I'm using this panel, okay, to encourage our people because a lot of them are a stakeholder, and I need to engage in this. I'm sorry for.
No, I'm the one who's sorry. You guys, all of you, kept waiting. But I have one final question, and then I still want to open a few questions for the floor. I'll stay one question to all of you, and I'll take from Mohammed. Why does it have to be government money? I mean, AI is going to push $1.5 trillion
Yes.
in the economy by 2030, as what I read. Why does it have to be money coming from government?
It's
Why a PPP model or something else?
Because this is a culture, okay? We born and grow in Egypt. We don't have a Silicon Valley or any other environment. يعني بالعربي كده يقول لك راس المال اصله جبان. Okay, but this is the role of the government. They will take the lead first, and the private sector will follow. It's big risk to invest in technology, because it's not an instant money. Okay, it will bring money in the future. Let me give you an example. Okay, when we invest in a startup, we expect the money comes from the startup within 5-7 years. Okay, and shaky 50%. And I will be frank with you. The only vehicle investment in the technology called venture capital. In Arabic language, translation is مال مطر المخاطر، مال استثمار المخاطر. حتى even احنا بنترجمها غلط، هي مغامر مش مخاطر. We are facing some problem here. So the responsibility from the institution and the financial institution arm. Okay, banks, holding companies, we have a lot of money to invest in technology rather than invest in real estate. Okay, because the allocation proportionally unfair.
I will not comment on your last comment about investing in real estate. Mahmoud, do you agree it should be government money or partial? I mean, they said the investing in telco operators back in the 90s was risky.
By the way.
No, I seriously, they said telco operating the first licenses back in the 90s was a huge risk. And now we know what's happened with the next licenses and the next one and the next one.
It's far beyond the government money actually. So, but the government plays a major role. So it always starts with the real intention to capture the opportunity. This is the first step. Secondly, to have the right regulation and legislation environment. Thirdly, to have the right investment. So, majority of the multinationals works in Egypt. They have branches outside of Egypt. So the R&D or investments happens at the headquarters. So I agree that the government needs to play a major role. But again, it always starts with the right regulation and legislation. Otherwise, we're not starting. And even if we're building capacity, and I'm sorry, I'll take the courage from Mohammed, and I'm sorry to do that actually. So if you invested in people now, the education and learning, and if you couldn't manage to get them the right opportunity to work in Egypt, so you're investing for other countries to take them. And this is what's happening now actually. So I believe, and in order to build the real environment for adapting AI, because otherwise we'll be left behind. We need to build a vision, like 30 to 40 years vision, with the solid milestones and allocation of the right fund, because I don't think we can easily afford getting the hardware required, be it quantum computer or supercomputer. It's very expensive. But we have another opportunity as a country. If we attracted the hyperscalers from the technology to build data centers in Egypt, and Egypt to be the hub of cloud computing, in this case, we'll find a partnership with those hyperscalers to pave the way for us to move forward. Again, it's the responsibility of the government to find the right regulation to attract those hyperscalers in Egypt.
And I know there is a very important session on data protection regulations tomorrow morning at the AmSham, and I know it's a big discussion, but I still want to pursue the issue of money. Sahar, would you put a chapter on money being pushed from the government in AI in your piece of regulations? Would you try to push in the parliament that we need to push trillions and trillions of Egyptian pounds into AI in the next 3 to 4 decades?
Well, we need to push the government to put a lot of money in everywhere. We need money in education, we need money in health, we need money in everywhere. But for AI, I actually second Mahmoud's opinion. I see the government plays a huge role in enabling the industry of AI by having the right regulations in place, by having the data accessible for the industry to use, by availing the hardware for this industry, because not all the hardware components are approved for private sector to use. We need to work on these kind of obstacles so we can foster this industry in Egypt. So this is mainly how I see the role of the government. And when it comes to financial part, I think also government can play a role in having international players partnering with them to have central data centers to serve as a hub in Egypt. So yeah, let's not load the government now with the money.
Professor Daly, when Mahmoud said, if you allow me, when Mahmoud said if you invest now trillions and trillions in building the high caliber, but then if they don't have opportunities, they would flee the country and sorry, please.
It's
you're a parliament member. You're the only one who can stop us all, you know?
No, I just because when you said, Mohammed, that we are not, Egypt is not attracting investment in this area, I feel like I understand that you mean the government, not from private sector or foreign investment, right? Because I see a big opportunity and I have faith in the ecosystem, the startups and the SMEs who work on tech industry. Only in 1 year, they raised $500 million. So there are the ecosystem, the startup ecosystem in Egypt. In 1 year, in 2021, they raised yeah, but I mean, but yes, but it can happen again. So what I mean is we, as startups, we can attract foreign investments. And I know that they faced a little bit of struggles, and some of them, they already moved to other countries to have more expansion and more opportunities. But again, it's our role as legislators to help them and bring more ease to how to operate in Egypt and bring back these startups to attract more.
I need to clarify one thing. Maybe I misunderstand. You misunderstood.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, please. Okay, the government has investment arms, a lot of investment arms. Okay, and these investment arms should be dedicated a portion of it for technology. Okay, yeah. Every year, government investment billions. Okay, in all sectors except technology.
Yeah.
Okay, why? Dedicate a big amount for technology, because technology will make the difference in the near future.
It's true,
That's right.
but I think it's matter of priorities.
So I'll go back on this investment. So as a professor, Professor Daly, it was being said if you invest today in students that will become AI experts, then they don't find jobs in Egypt, then they will free. But isn't this still Egyptian soft power, exporting talent and getting them out there, being in key positions, eventually coming back like many have done, helping their countries? Do you think it's a risk to invest in AI in students, or is a risk to be taken?
I think there's a famous phrase that if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. I think the same with this. You have to invest. You have to have the infrastructure whereby there are the ecosystems so that therefore the graduates have employability locally, but also you must, as you say, facilitate the soft power advantages of us educating at the British University global citizens so that they can operate in a global sphere, an atmosphere, and what have you. But also that they will come back, go away, come back, and all that sort of thing. I think all of that is very, very important. I think the role of government in some ways is to regulate and facilitate on certain things and not others. And I'm going to be a little bit bold here, I think, and say that my 2 years' experience, certainly in higher education, there seems to be too much of an emphasis on regulating inputs as opposed to overseeing outputs and outcomes of higher education. So I just use one example. We have BSc in AI. We have MScs in cybersecurity. We have an Institute of AI. But if we want to change our curriculum, existing curriculum, we have to wait 5 years until a student has completed that program before we can essentially rewrite it. That's the wrong focus. The focus should be on whether or not we are producing the graduates that the country and the world needs.
I start to see some hands on the floor, so I will allow just few quick remarks by Dr. Tantawi and Marwa, if you allow me, Tariq, then, because I don't want to preempt people from the floor of asking some final. So, okay, sorry. Oh, okay, please. Sorry. Okay. Dr. Tantawi, very quickly in a minute, maybe your quick reactions to everything.
My quick reaction is that, yeah, I believe the government should always help any organization that does good for the country, overall, economically, socially, what have you. But I personally don't believe in the government investing in companies per se, right? It can avail fund that investors can take from, right? Sort of with some guarantees, with some help, sort of not free money, but cheap money for others to invest. But investors have to invest. The government will never invest properly. I can tell you that. Because I was born back then. Marwa was trying to, ask me to give the history of AI. I actually lived the history of AI, believe it or not. I'm that old. But I have lived through times in this country where the government was doing everything, investing in factories, investing in everything. I don't want to see شركة النصر البرمجيات. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see شركة I don't know what.
No, we don't mean this. No. No, there is no factories for technology, by the way.
Yeah,
the factory is the people. Invest in education, invest in startups, okay, that innovating, okay. If you don't do this, okay, you will left behind, okay, the history forever. Read the book of Startup Nation. We have a neighbor, okay, did this exercise, and they are now one of the top countries worldwide. Yeah. We don't need to sit back and set theories and leave things in hold.
That's a very important talk, maybe another session, right? Yeah. Because I read this thing and I studied it as thorough, not just that nation, but other nations as well, and how they succeeded. And they did little things, actually, that we cannot do, unfortunately, at this time, but we should be able to do. That's a long story. But the government should invest, absolutely. But not in giving money, not in investing money directly in companies, because who is going to represent that money in the board of directors of the company? Some government employee will destroy it. You don't want these people. Trust me. I mean, that's a longer story, but yeah.
Okay, Marwa.
No, I think the discussion has been very thorough and it's very clear. I think both sides have a point of view that needs to be considered, and it needs a combination of two different things, but with a plan that could be executable. I think we can sit here for hours and days and talk about so many things, but without actions and execution, I think time will, eat us all. So I hope we can get to the point where a balanced plan can take place so that we can be able to execute.
Okay, thank you all very much.
I'll just say
very quickly, please, if you allow me.
Yes.
Okay.
No, I agree with a lot of things that you've been saying. And the way I see it about like the government's role is, for me, regarding AI, is mainly regulations. Because I believe AI, that there are lots of tools, people, companies, startups are going to be using AI. But the thing that's really important is how the government is going to regulate. But that's, this is my remark.
Thank you very much. So I have two questions that I can see, Abdulaziz. I started with you, so I will start with the gent, and then I come back to you, if you allow me. So I'll take only two questions. Faddal, please. حضرتك Inji from Biba, you might want to serve dinner, please, because we're staying.
Thank you. I was planning to leave early, but I thought there are 2 points I must make before leaving. The first point is about the concept of AI. I have a feeling we're addressing the concept of AI here from a wrong point of view. AI has 4 phases. The first phase is identifying a problem. The second phase is using memory to correct that problem. We call it the limited memory phase. The third phase is mimicking the human brain, and the last phase is being aware of yourself and the environment. Until today, we are dealing with phase 1 and 2. We have not progressed towards phase 3, and phase 4 is quite a long way from us. The entire discussion which is going on here is about phase 2, how to use the memory that we accumulate from data to solve problems, whether it is in health or banking or other areas. I think we better be aware of that to avoid unnecessary discussion about issues in AI that belong to the brain, the cognitive capacities of the brain, or the psychology of awareness. Those issues we are not there yet. And those are the issues that the university should attend to in terms of research. And that's one of the reasons why you cannot find professors, because nobody has got to that point yet. And that's research that should be done. I thought I better make this point clear because there is a lot of confusion around it. That's one. The second point is about the investment. I hear a lot about the pros and cons of government involvement in AI. It's quite enough to know that the United States has created a program, the government of the United States, a program the size of $72 billion to develop the AI industry, especially the chip industry. It may be of interest to you to know that the United States government is paying $15 billion to TSMC, the largest chip maker in Taiwan, to build a factory in Arizona. So the United States government is paying a private company in Taiwan to build a factory in Arizona. And to refer to the issue of capacity and skill, the Taiwanese complain that there aren't enough American technicians to run the factory, and they are bringing technicians from Taiwan. I think those issues should be clear to avoid a lot of the misunderstandings. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very enlightening. Abdulaziz. And then one final here. Sorry. Zero. I promise you I'll try to wrap up. It's their mistake, not mine.
Thank you, Karim. And you can say Zizo because I found out that the minister is a Jesuit. So I would like to thank you all for all your comments and highlights about the industry and what is happening in it. I would like to address Mohammed. Everything that you said is of major importance for me. Because as we know, Obama invested in Tesla to get it started. And this is how major industry take off. At the same time, I think the collaboration of every single segment of Egypt, from education to developing talents, like the younger gentleman that asked, like you said, the smartest question, definitely. We do have the talents, and we just need a simple incubator to let these major talents grow, and also to have the investments inside the companies where they will grow their mindset as well as also their capabilities to produce what we don't have today. I maybe ask Karim and Mohammed and yourself, as well as also everybody else, to maybe get together at some point in time and think about what can we do to influence the government and influence the private sector, especially the funds, to create some sort of an engine. Because, like you said, Mohammed, if we miss the next decade, we're out of this game. It's as simple as that. I'm sorry, I didn't have a question, but I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
No, you said something extremely important. If you want to influence, you pay, engage money, and we do the job. That's okay. You pay, engage money, and that's all our business. You know, we do business lobbying. So if you want to influence, yeah, you can come. We'll put you on the panel next time if you do this. Okay, I had one final question, and then I think we really need to wrap up. People are getting quite exhausted, all of us, and thank you for waiting.
الحقيقة هو مش سؤال, it is a comment, very quick comment. The AI revolution is the most important economic revolution, not technological revolution. The economy is measured by growth in productivity. The impact of AI on productivity increase is going to be huge. So the next growth of economies will come mainly from productivity increase as a result of automating tasks done by human beings, and it is bigger than what happened in the Industrial Revolution. And we have to look at the subject from the two sides, okay? Not only the side of technology, but the side on the impact on economy. What I have heard today from Dr. Amr and the strategy that he has devised is a strategy from us trying to catch the tail of the wave. And it has nothing to do talk about the larger impact on the economy and how we can benefit from AI, not only in terms of talent or technology or participating in the improvement, but also in the economic side, from the fact that AI will change the way we do everything, have a huge impact on productivity, and it will have a huge impact on GDP growth for different countries. Okay, so this is why I would like, hopefully next time we can have more time to do on the other part of the application of AI. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And before I conclude, I'll just say a few terminologies, keywords that we captured. So apparently, we need technology for AI. We need talent for AI. We need startups for AI. We need education for AI. We need partnerships, and Sahar, you're here. We need regulations and policy for AI that in frameworks all of this. I would like to thank Biba again for asking us to do this very difficult panel as usual. I'd like to thank all of you for being on the panel, and I think it was still quite an exciting and enriching discussion despite the fact that it happened quite later than expected. Thank you very much, and see you next time, inshallah.
Senator Flavio.